Henry? Henry, is that you? Henry, is that you? Henry? 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 Hello, Henry?
Well, I might be. But if you really want to find out my real identity, I'm going to reveal all in this very special Six the Musical video. Strap yourselves in, guys, as you're about to find out the real identity of who was King Henry VIII of England. You haven't seen nothing yet, Queens. You are going down. I'm the King of England, and I could do what I want! Prepare to surrender, or perish! Up with your heads! Well, greetings and good day to all of you. My name is Jack Wright, also known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube, and welcome to this very special Six the Musical themed video, and also me talking about one very special thing that happened to me over a year ago on this very day, on the 24th of August 2019. In this video, I am going to tell you the whole story of how I became very popular from just one small little idea and one of the most craziest things I'd ever done to any theatre trip that I ever had to the theatre of seeing any musical in any theatre, and that is, of course, how I became known as the new generation Henry VIII, or King Henry VIII of England to be more specific. In this video, like I said, I am going to talk to you about how I got the inspiration for, of course, what happened over a year ago when I went to see the show itself of Six the Musical at the Arts Theatre in London's West End. How, of course, it was reacted, how people reacted to it, and also how popular it has become since it has been over a year since I debuted this very special cosplay based on one of the most ruthless kings in British history. So without further ado, let's get started. So to start off, let me tell you the inspiration on why I decided to do this. Just to clarify, this was not an actual publicity stunt that I wanted to do, or I just done this for outright attention. This was all done because of an unorthodox idea that I had when, funny enough, it was mentioned in my programme of the musical of Six by the general management of Kenny Wax, who also did put in the programme, as I can read it right here. He said that the challenge with Six from a producer's perspective was how to give it commercial legs. Over the past few months many have offered options. Sorry, I apologise. Add a second act. Introduce Henry. It just needs 3 additional songs and you have a 90-minute show. Rewrite it with a linear narrative. I'm pleased to say that we have held firm as Toby and Lucy wanted us to do. It's not a musical that it can easily be labelled or compared to anything else. So that, of course, paragraph that was said, or passage in that programme of Six the Musical, kind of inspired me in some way. But also, since I'm a big fan of history, and I, funnily enough, knew a little bit about Henry VIII back at, of course, in my school days, back in junior school, but we only touched barely about him and his reign, along with his, of course, 6 wives, as that's how the name of the musical Six got its name from. But as well as that, this is a costume that I actually came across, which was pretty close. As well as that, what also drove me to being inspired and also considering dressing up as Henry VIII for when I went to see the musical of Six over a year ago, was that I wanted to, alongside with the 6 queens that are featured in the show, basically I wanted to adapt him like how the other queens were based in the show. Like if they were pop singers, I wanted to base on him as being a pop singer myself as well. But as you know, since it is based on the actual people that were part of the Tudor dynasty, most of their costumes in the show did also have of course, a nod to the Tudor period, but they were basically modernised because of the show, as well as the format of it, as well as the music that accompanies the show. So without hesitation, I bought this Henry VIII costume from Escapade online, And also I accompanied them with, of course, basing them on the royal portrait which he's most famous for. I know I haven't got my hat, of course, since I had my hair styled, but I grew out my beard to just look like him. I also got this medallion. I also got some, of course, sovereign rings, as well as some new additions, which I've just added these recently, just for this video, of these 2 gem rings on my index fingers. And also, I have, of course, breeches, which I know you can't see, but I can just go up slightly so you can have a look. And also, I have socks and also some gold shoes. These, of course, are new additions to the costume, but when I wore this costume over a year ago, I decided to do, of course, a different take on it by, instead of having shoes, I had boots, so just like how the 6 queens would wear them in the actual show. Oh, I almost forgot, and as just like on his royal portrait, he also did have a dagger, Henry VIII, on him. As you may not have noticed, I've also had a new addition with this brand new 16th century style dagger. Remember, just to let you know, this is not a real one. It's only made of plastic, as I can take it out right here. This is what it looks like for any of you who want to have a close look at it. So with the costume bought, as well as the few props, including my rings and also my dagger, I was all ready to go and see the show. We already booked our tickets for the 24th of August in 2019, last year, and let me tell you something, this was going to be something that I will never forget for a long, long, long time. So then, we come to the very day I saw the show over a year ago on the 24th of August 2019. My dad, and of course myself, had already bought tickets to go and see it on that very same day, the musical of 6, and let me tell you something. 1, it was very, very hot. 2, this costume on that very same day was pretty hot to be in on that very same day. And 3, I was so excited to finally see this musical. After so long, initially seeing loads of preview clips and loads of other themed videos that loads of people already put up on the video site YouTube. Now before we saw the show, we were actually arrived in London's West End a lot more earlier than usual. But of course we didn't know how busy it was going to be since we travelled by car to see the show. So we were actually feeling a little bit hungry, so we actually had a early, of course, dinner, and we decided to get a McDonald's just around the area of the Arts Theatre where the, of course, show does take place and where it is being performed at currently. As soon as we got our food there, we then found some steps outside an abandoned building just a few streets away from where the theatre was, and we then filled our stomachs. But believe it or not, guys, this was when, at that very moment when I was just casually eating my French fries, this little video by 2 of the people that were originally in the show, but one of them has just left now, on Quansah-Breed, and currently Natalie May Paris, who is in the show still at the moment, filmed this little Instagram story on the very same day of when they were outside of just their time off before the show that I went to see in the evening.
Henry? Henry, is that you? Henry, is that you? Henry? 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 Hello, Henry?
And with that, even though that was filmed secretly by Quansah-Breed and Natalie May Paris, that's where the meme of Henry, is that you? Memes all started, as of recently on my Instagram profile. But before you know it, it was time to go and see the musical that I'd always wanted to go and see. Not just with my dad John Wright, but also my popularity only was just beginning for me being in this costume. here's the moment. Even though that I couldn't film any of the show, I could only film the MegaSix at the end. And this is what happened over a year ago when I saw the show, and when I even joined in with the queens that were singing on that very day when performing Six the Musical, and the most famous part of the musical itself, of the MegaSix. And if you thought that was crazy, everyone, over the last hour that was part of the show, that of course I couldn't film because of copyright reasons, since I was right at the front filming the MegaSix alongside my dad in the first 2 rows of the seats that were inside the theatre on the BB row, and just right on the edge of the right part of the stage. Throughout the show I got a royal roasting. And what I mean by that, of course, since all of the characters are based on the queens of Henry VIII, they all have a little bicker, and also, since I was right in front in costume, they were making eye contact with me all the time. As well as that, I was also asked to get up and dance during the song Get Down, where Alexia McIntosh, who was playing Anne of Cleves, and let me tell you something, she came to me for every single verse she sung when it came to particular parts of the song also, as well as just what I mentioned earlier on. It may have been embarrassing, crazy, and outright stupid, but despite all that, it was all worth it, and I had a theatre experience that I will never forget for a long time. But that was not all just yet. I even had got the chance to even meet some of the people who actually played the role of the Queens at the end of the show at stage door in the foyer part of the Arts Theatre. And those particular people who saw me dressed up as Henry VIII got a surprise that they would never forget. As if you did not know, there's already a video of my stage door experience on YouTube, but here is a few little clips of some of the people who also saw me in my costume, and even a few fans not just came to see me and also complimented on my costume. But like I said already, it was the performers that were most interested in my costume. And here are 4 of them that came to me, and they were Vicky Mansa, Courtney Stapleton, Mayor Quansah-Breed, and Shekinah McFarlane.
I thought I'd be going down the stores tonight. That's fine, honestly. Please, don't feel embarrassed. Thank you. One more. It's on another level. I know. The first time anyone's done it. Well, I've been that crazy enough to do this.
Even to this very day, over a year ago, I will never forget what, of course, those performers said to me. But I think out of all of them, Vicky Mansa, who said to me when she met me at stage door, That will stay with me forever, let me tell you something. So I've already been to see the show, and I honestly thought that after wearing this cosplay, I thought it would only just be a one-hit wonder. How wrong was I? Over the next few weeks on my Instagram profile, as well as my YouTube video, I even started appearing in other videos on YouTube, would you believe? One in particular that also, unfortunately, you couldn't actually see me in full, but you did manage to see my head, was a young vlogger called Bryony Rose, who is a massive fan of Six the Musical. Now, if you are watching Bryony, I'm sure you'll remember me. Hi there, by the way, if you are familiar with me. And also, hello to you, Izzy, a very good friend of Bryony as well. I know that you did see me in costume, and I know you couldn't believe it. And I know that you were planning to do a little, of course, bit for your vlog with me in costume, but unfortunately, it wasn't in focus, unfortunately, which was a real shame. But I hope to see you very, very soon after when this pandemic is over and when I come to see Six the Musical again in the West End. But honestly, it was an absolute pleasure to have had a part in, of course, your vlog when I went to also see the show. And as well as, of course, meeting a fellow Six fan, it was really, really special, and it made me feel really proud to be a fan. But funny enough, everyone, that was not the only video that I was featured in. Believe it or not, when Mayor Quansah-Breed was also asked by Bryony Rose to be interviewed to talk about her time being in the musical of Six the Musical, she happened to mention someone who was dressed as Henry VIII, as what is the most outrageous thing that a fan has ever done when they came to see the show. She didn't get my name, but I knew instantly it was actually me, because I was the only person and the person that has ever dressed up as King Henry VIII of England when I went to see Six the Musical. Here's a little video of when she mentioned me on her interview that she done on Bryony Rose's YouTube channel.
What is your favourite thing someone from the audience has done during a show?
Oh goodness. Oh, there's been loads. There has been loads. There was one guy a couple of weeks ago dressed up as Henry VIII, and that was one of the best things I've ever witnessed. He was sat at the first row, like giving us this. So I was like, oh my goodness. He was absolutely. I even got a selfie with him because I was buzzing.
God, yeah, we were at that show.
I think we were at the meeting.
Yeah, when was that? Courtney Boleyn's first debut, right?
Oh god.
He was very funny.
We liked him.
We saw him, like, me and Nat spotted him across the road. Like, before the show, like, oh my god, Henry, is that you? And then, like, after the show, we're like, oh my god, it's actually you.
Oh.
Please don't thank me. It's what I do. I try my best, honestly. But honestly, if it wasn't for Bryony and Izzy coming to me and also not just complimenting my costume, but for also being a huge Six fan, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Bryony Rose and her good friend Izzy, and as well as Mayor Quansah-Breed and Natalie May Paris, who kicked it all off over a year ago and making me become the very first Six the Musical superfan, as dressed as no other than one of the most ruthless kings in British history, and that is King Henry VIII of England. So what does the future hold for me being in this cosplay? Well, to tell you the truth, honestly, I never thought it would ever get so much recognition, and I couldn't be any more flattered to be, of course, complimented on it. Even though some people obviously take a hate to him in this musical, or of course of Six, but believe it or not, guys, some people don't realise that if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have changed British history, like, for the next few centuries. Or not just even centuries, but the next few decades, may I add. But also, as well as that, he also was not just famous for having 6 wives, Henry VIII, but he did also have quite a very strong position in being, of course, I mean, you can't obviously not disrespect someone who was a very, very strong and ruthless leader, of course, of our great country of England. But also, I know it is a part of the United Kingdom, but that's how it was back then. And for any of you who may have also mentioned that, will I ever cosplay as Henry again? Well, basically the answer to that is only just one simple answer I can give you. And that is yes. Of course not at the moment because of the recent coronavirus pandemic, but as soon as that pandemic blows over and I finally go and see the musical of 6 once again, either in the West End, I even also had planned to go and see the UK tour at Norwich Theatre Royal just recently, but it got cancelled because of of course, the unexpected rise in cases of coronavirus, and it could be deemed too dangerous to perform in. But as well as that, also I had planned to go to a drive-in performance, but that also unfortunately got cancelled from a load of local hotspots and loads of other spikes of cases of coronavirus. So even though it has been a bit tough for me to get back into this costume, I will return as Henry VIII. And if you ever see me, of course, go and see the show 6 the Musical, don't be afraid to come up and say hello, because let me tell you something, with all this newfound fame and, of course, recognition, I couldn't be any more happy to have it. And honestly, if it wasn't for any of you coming to me when I went to see the show over a year ago, I wouldn't be here today. So to all of you that came to me, or have even gave praise on my cosplay on Instagram or any of my social media platforms, I would like to say thank you so, so much for making this possible. And like I said, may of course this cosplay of King Henry VIII of England go on until whenever people get bored of it. May it long last continue. God save the King! Oh, and I almost forgot, everyone. If you didn't see earlier on, this of course, if you wanted to see my cosplay all in full, here it is right now for you. Like I said already earlier on in this video, as I said, I paid a lot of attention to the royal portrait of Henry VIII, and as you can see, I've got me medallion, of course, which was obviously just underneath my neck. I know, of course, as you can see here, I've got my hair slicked back. I know I have got my hat, but I wanted to do my hair up especially, and of course I've got, you can see, of course, I've been growing a beard quite recently, but that is not just for Henry VIII, but also for other things as well, which you might be seeing in future videos. Also, like I said, I've got my jewellery as well. As you see, I've got one sovereign ring and a beautiful red rounded gem ring on my index finger, and it's the same with my other one. As I'll just take the hand out of my out of the camera so you can see, and on my right hand, and I've got an octagon red gemmed ring alongside another gold sovereign ring on my pinky finger as well. And also a new addition. I initially did have a sword for this cosplay, but now I've replaced it with a dagger on the front, as you did see earlier on, as it's just going to focus in there. There you go. And this is based on the 16th century, so it was around the same era of the Tudor period. And I also have a, believe it or not, this rope around my waist actually was a part of a Prince costume I had, a Prince Charming costume, which was supposed to go around my shoulder, but then I adapted it to become the belt where I'd also, my dad actually made a little loop so he could put the, so I could put the sword in. Or of course it was a sword initially, but like I said, it is a dagger. And yes, as I said, I also I can go also quickly to my legs as well. I've got my breeches, as you can tell, with a beautiful gold lace trim, and that's also grey, just like a part of the front part of the tunic of me on my cosplay. And also, this is a new addition. Like I said, if you didn't see them earlier on, these are my, of course, gold shoes that these were actually what I wore quite recently for one of my coronavirus lockdown sing-along 2020 performances when I played the role of Joseph in the, of course, me sing-along of Any Dream Will Do from the musical of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And these are kind of loosely based on shoes that Henry VIII himself wore on his actual royal portrait. So but there you go, guys. As I've said already, I would just like to say, once again, a massive thank you to all of you for, of course, the love on this cosplay. I've had so much fun making this video. And like I said already, guys, if, of course, if I am ever going to come back to seeing Six the Musical, which I'll definitely will in the future, as soon as this coronavirus pandemic is over, I'll definitely go dressed as Henry VIII again. And don't be afraid, like I said already, to come and whenever I go and see it, don't be afraid to come up and say hello. And I've also got a very big project planned, which I initially was going to do earlier on this year, but it had to be cancelled because, since I said I got tickets earlier on this year to go and see the UK touring production of Six the Musical at the Norwich Theatre Royal. I'm actually going to do it all themed around, once again, the show and how it's all formatted, like not just like a pop concert, but also a talent competition. So yeah, keep your eyes out, guys. I know, of course, obviously it's been put on hold at the moment, but let me tell you, as soon as I go and see the show, hopefully next year, it'll be well worth the wait. So thank you very much once again, guys, for watching this very special Henry, Is That You video. And yeah, of course, as I said, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below for your thoughts on the cosplay, and of course my my newfound fame as being a Henry VIII cosplayer. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. So once again, to any of you that are, of course, still obviously in, of course, if you're social distancing or also isolating yourself, if you've got the coronavirus, stay safe out there. I hope that you are all, of course, bearing the brunt of it. I mean, I know this is quite a shock for me as well, but I'm getting through it quite easily, so and I just hope that all of you are staying positive during this dark and twisted time. It will happen, of course. It will eventually happen where we'll get a vaccine, and this pandemic will definitely not, of course, it won't last forever, honestly. I'm really keeping the faith for you guys, honestly. So honestly, stay positive out there, and once again, stay alert, control the virus, and stay safe out there. And until then, from me, Jack Wright, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon. Until then, au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen. See you next time, everyone. Goodbye.